Get a question on Article 12, it will be phrased in many different ways. But one thing that will always be there is either what do you mean by other authorities, or explain instrumentality of state. Okay? Fundamentally, the question will have either of these things. You have to write the exact same things that I've said in the class right now. Nothing different. No matter what the question is phrased as. The way you start a standard answer in Constitution and jurisprudence especially is like this. First, make a heading. This is quite obvious. Introduction. Okay? In the introduction, you have to mention Article 12, the language. Doesn't have to be the exact same, but if you remember, I told you it has 6 points. Government of India, Parliament of India, Government of State, Legislature of State, other authorities and local authorities. That's all that you have to mention over there. After introduction, write down background. Now, the person who is not going to get marks in this question, what that person would do is he will simply start writing without breaking it down into different parts. And because, yes, did you say something?
Sir, I wanted to ask that whether we need to write introduction, can we just start writing and the teacher would understand that this is the introduction, because when we are shifting to our next paragraph.
No, see, what I'm saying is, again, don't get panicked because I'm going to mention 4 or 5 headings here. That does not mean that each has to be 1 or 2 pages. It can be just one single line, or it could be.
I understood that. What I am asking is whether we need to write a heading that it is introduction.
You should write, ideally. You should write. I'll tell you personally, in all my mains papers, I wrote, in every single answer, I wrote introduction, except for 5-mark questions and all of that, or 10-mark questions. In 25-mark questions, write this particular thing, introduction to concept. Just introduction or introduction to concept. Yeah.
So it says in English paper also?
In English paper, when you're writing, more or less, when you're writing an essay, although see, in your essay, since it will be 150 words, you have to limit your writing. In that case, you don't have to make such divisions. In that case, the teacher will understand. Because the moment you start writing these headings, they'll become a part of your, word length. Right? Okay. So you first write down introduction, then you write down background. In background, what do you mention? You mention those, the concepts that I mentioned regarding welfare state. See, it's important that these phrases are there and these phrases are underlined. The teacher is not going to, and especially if you're underlining, it's the best thing because the teacher will not even read your entire answer. He'll just look at the underlined points and he'll know that you know the concept, right? Welfare state. Then the hierarchy of departmental bodies or autonomous bodies. That's it. Okay? At this point itself, you can also mention those 2 phrases regarding arbitrary application of power and regarding public corporation. Okay, your third point will be case law analysis, because remember, this question is entirely case law based. The most mark fetching part of your answer is going to be these 2 points. And fourth, conclusion. Just as much. You can of course make more sub points if you want, but this is all that you need. I'll try to write down a sample answer along these lines, and I'll send it over to sir and he'll share it with you guys. Okay? And please remember that, you know, this particular framework you can follow in almost every question. The only, and this doesn't only mean that this applies to jurisprudence and constitution. In mains paper, you will notice that most students, even though in prelims they'll have 70, 80 and scores like that, the only reason they fail in mains paper is because of not writing in this framework. Because at the end of the day, the teacher needs to have patience to read your answers, right? So, and moreover, if your handwriting is not the best handwriting, like mine for example, it's not the best handwriting. So the more clearer you have written the answer, the better. And remember that you don't have to write it in every single line. In my case, I used to leave one line space in between each line in the paragraph. So although it looked like you know, like I was doing cursive writing or something, the answers looked exceedingly beautiful because they were organized and limited number of points were there. That's all you need to do. Clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay guys, so this concludes our discussion on state and all the other previous concepts that we have done. Next class we'll talk about Article 13. Yes?
Sir, next class will be on Tuesday.
I think the next class is tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay? All right. Okay, thank you guys. Just read that case, huh?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.